One of the most inspiring things out there is when people turn their messes into their messages. Okay. Every master was once a disaster. Okay. Remember those two right there. That's exactly why in this podcast interview, we are talking to Emily Eckstein. She had scoliosis, and that literally sparked her addiction to be into health and fitness, start her business, start her podcast, and also doing a host of cool things right now, which she's doing in the fitness industry. So check out this interview we did with Emily Eckstein. All right, Emily Eckstein, what is going on? How you doing today?
What's up, guys? How's it going? I'm so happy to be here.
It's going. We're just, like fellow Texans, fellow Cali peeps. So no, we're doing good. We're blessed. Like I said, it's been a busy week. We're sipping on some coffee right now, and we got a nice church event later tonight. It's called Warrior Night with all men. So I'm looking forward to that. So everything's good.
Cool. What's that event?
So it's they do it every quarter, and it's just like a men's group that they have at church. So everyone gets together. It's a lot of just faith-based stuff. It's a lot of personal development stuff, leadership stuff, and it goes for about 2 hours. So it's kind of like a little seminar / kind of retreat.
Wow, I love that. Oh yeah, yeah. It sounds like the community must be amazing.
Oh, it is.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. So Emily, I want to dig into this. I want to just kick off. I know we had gotten to know each other the last couple of months, which has been great. And we were on your podcast, and you had told us that you had moved from California to Texas as well. So what made you move to Texas from California, and how has that been going, that whole transition?
Yeah. So I love how all of us have so much in common, from LA to Texas, right? The reason I moved here originally, LA my whole life, right? LA's in my blood. And I, being there my whole life, I really felt a need to explore a new city. I don't know why I felt a calling to Austin. I feel like I'm very drawn to like-minded people that are also just really genuine, authentic, really nice. Not like you can't find that wherever you go, but I really felt that draw when I was here visiting one time. So I was like, oh, Austin would be a cool city to move to. Little did I know it wasn't just me. It was everyone else in LA who had the same magical idea. Yeah. But I actually applied to jobs here, and funny was actually the job I moved here for, intentionally moving here, was really not for me. It was in a completely different industry, and I was able to kind of redirect my life into the industry where I'm supposed to be, which I am in now, in the fitness tech world. But even though I'm not in that job anymore, I wanted to stay in Austin. So here I am. Yeah, and that's awesome. And do you still kind of ever get that itch to be like, oh, I want to go back to California just because the weather, just everything that you're used to over there? Yeah, I mean, I think it's more, I don't think I'm going to be here forever. I also go home so often because it's pretty short flight. I miss my family and friends. Yeah. So I feel like I live half and half life a lot of times. So I do miss it, but I'm also really happy here. So just kind of being present and seeing where life takes me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's awesome. And then I noticed too, you went to USC, correct?
I did.
Okay. So yeah, what did you study there?
I majored in health promotion and disease prevention, and I minored in business administration and Spanish. Also, my major had an emphasis a lot on nutrition, kinesiology, all the things that I love. So I was a really cool major, right? Because I've never heard of that before. But I was actually with all the pre-med kids. So school was not easy for me at all. I thought I wanted to go pre-med for a hot second. And I feel like literally every point of my life, I've just been continuously pivoting and redirecting my life, which I think is super important, and finding the pros in that, and kind of what you take out of each chapter to go into the next is really important. And just continuously pivoting is something I feel like I've always been doing.
Yeah, that's a key. So Spanish.
I do. So my, I minored in it because I always want to just get better in things that I like to study. But my mom's actually from Mexico City. Nice. So I'm half Mexican. Okay. Nice. And Spanish was my first language but my dad is el gringo, as you call them, from New York. So my Spanish is a little bit of a Spanglish. So I'm not as fluent as I was when I was little, but I still speak pretty fluently. But I really wanted to enhance it. So I studied abroad for about a month in college in Spain. I had my minor. So just to be more immersed in the culture and the language, which honestly, I think, first, I'm biased. I think it's the best language. I love Spanish.
Yeah. And I gotta ask too, like, how did your parents actually meet, being from New York and then Mexico City?
Yeah, that's so funny. No one's actually asked me that before on a pod, but I love that question. Yeah, it's funny. So I really do think everything is meant to be, right? I mean, who would have thought? My mom's in Mexico City and my dad's in New York. My dad actually came to LA. He's a doctor to do his residency. And one of the nurses went to the same gym as my mom, and she connected both of them. And the funny thing is my mom is she's from Mexico, right? She's Mexican Cuban, but she's like blonde, super light skin, blue eyes. So it was so funny because it was a blind date. And, my dad was expecting like someone a little bit more Hispanic looking. And it was just, it's like, wait, are you lying? Like, are you actually Mexican? So, of course, like everyone's unique in their own way. It was just funny in terms of where you're from to, have that blind date and not know kind of what you're walking into.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Cool. But no, I'd say like honestly, like we were raised too. Like Spanish was our first language. Like with our father, but then when he passed away, that's when like our mom didn't speak so much like Spanish to us. But it's like one of those things where it's like if you don't use it, you lose it. And it's like even me and Chris are like I'm like, man, shoot myself in the foot. Like I really don't have a lot of people to speak Spanish to, so it's like it's a good skill set to have.
It's not only it's such a good skill set to have in real life and the workplace. It's helped me so many times. Yeah. And also I think that it kind of gives you more of a connection with a lot of people too. So I always think if someone, it might not be Spanish, but just speaking another language or having another another part of you that you've studied or that you can find a really cool common connection with people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I want to go back
Chris,
to
we got to brush up on the Spanish, man.
No, it's funny because like I was
talking practice together. We'll practice.
I can't take them serious.
We would laugh.
Yeah.
I was talking to my wife about this because I want our son to like grow up like speaking Spanish, but I'm just like, man, that's gonna be hard because it's just once we're in the grind of like day to day, it's just like for us to speak Spanish back and forth at each other. I'm just like I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's funny. I always tell my brother like we should practice so. Yeah. A little bit of a mix here, but it does come out in my salsa dancing moves. It comes out in other ways.
All right.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So I want to go back to what you're saying, like Emily, about just, your experience at USC, right? And like, how did that all kind of like come to life now with like basically coaching and like just being in the fitness industry and stuff? Did that start at USC or was that kind of like post USC?
Yeah, I think my passion for fitness, I think I was born with it. It really started when I was a young kid, and I always knew I wanted to do something in the health and wellness field. And that's why at first my dad's a doctor. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go that route. Shattered him one time. I'm like, just kidding. Never mind. But I did know I loved helping people. I loved motivating people. I loved the field, right? So that I knew is what I wanted to do. But I think a lot of people go into the health and wellness field. Maybe they're an exercise science, kinesiology major, whatever it may be. And they feel like there's just one option. Like I think so many people in our field, they feel kind of lost, like, oh, what kind of jobs can I get out of this? And even when in my major, I was like, literally everyone here is either wanting to go into the medical field or pharmacy field or something in like just anything really in the health field and the health sector, even working with hospitals and like in hospital administration work. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I love this field. So I think I was really able to find my niche in it, where not only am I a trainer, but I also work in sales and partnerships full time for True Coach, a fitness software company. So I think what's really cool is like you just determine what you're passionate about, and then your career will align with you. And it doesn't have to be one thing. You could do more than one thing. Like I love teaching so much. It's not my full-time thing though. So I think follow your passion. Don't go the other way just because someone's telling you to.
Yeah, 100%. And then, oh, go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say, is that kind of where like all the pivoting has been kind of like coming like in your life, you'd say?
I think pivoting comes in that way in terms of it was really hard. I'm sure every college kid feels like this, like, what do I want to do with my life? What career path? Yeah. Everyone kind of has the same thoughts too, if you're in a major. So I think that's one part of pivoting. I've also faced a lot of hardships in life or adversities in life where you just got to continuously pivot. And that's how you get back up in life.
Yeah. And so you said you faced like some like adversity and stuff in life. Like what's like the biggest like piece of adversity that you faced?
I would say two. The one was really what sparked my coaching part of me was when I was 10 years old, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, which is the curvature of your spine where it's kind of an S shape. Yep. I was really, really blessed that I didn't have to get surgery. I was like 2 degrees away. And when you get surgery, you have rods in your back. It's not fun. So that being said, I had to wear a back brace, which is like this really tight brace. It almost looks like a corset, super, super tight around you. I had to wear that for about 5 years. And not only was that not fun to wear as a young kid and uncomfortable, and, you know, it's like, you just feel out of your element, right? You're like really not yourself. It's embarrassing, all that. But I also felt really restricted. I felt like I loved running. I loved working out, and doctors told me I couldn't do so many things. And it was just like, it was really like, I was just an unfortunate time where not like I wore it 24/7, but I was really restricted on what I could do. Yeah. So once I kind of ripped off that brace, thank God was able to heal my back with this brace that I was so lucky to be able to be, I was able to not only have, but also catch in time the curvature of my spine before surgery. I just felt so blessed, and I felt like the feeling of ripping off the brace and like running, it felt so freeing and liberating. And not only did I felt so blessed and so grateful that I can move my body. Like I knew what it felt to not have that ability as much. Obviously not comparing to those that, are in way worse circumstances, but, in comparison, just kind of like you feel what it's like to feel restricted and feel like you can't move your body like you want to. So that's what kind of got me addicted to moving, and like being just like having the gratitude to move your body is really what made me so appreciative of just moving. And then little by little, I started coaching little kids. So that's kind of like the first pivot that I think I learned when I was really little, that really sparked my journey in the fitness world.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that too, Emily. I mean, that's one listener could be going through the same thing. So I appreciate you sharing that. And it's like, I want to just like hammer home what you said. You said, gratitude, having gratitude for movement. And it's like, this is something I say all the time. I'm like, man, like how can you not be blessed just to wake up in the morning, have breath in your lungs, have blood running through your veins, to be able to get up and move, you get to go to the gym, you get to be active, you get to sit there and improve your health. Most people can't do that. There's a lot of people that are born with like, deficiencies, like things like that. It's unfortunate, but it's like, it's crazy how so many people too, like just look past that and they're not grateful for their health and to, be able to exercise.
Yes. I was actually, I was on a show called Ultimate Tag. It was on Fox, and it was an obstacle course show. It was really, really fun, but I broke my foot on the show. The Watt brothers were the hosts of it, and they saw me eat it at the end. But the point of the story, it was really fun to be on there. Worth the broken foot. But I was at the gym in college, and I remember having a boot on my foot, and I was just like, oh, like I'm really upset. Like, I'm in a boot. This sucks. I want to go work out. I want to go run. And I look over and I see this football player, Jake Olson, walks in the gym, and he is blind. And he came in the gym, and I was like, okay, Emily, shut up. No excuses. You're grateful to be here. So I think also having the perspective of seeing someone else that is in worse shoes and a worse situation, but is still showing up, using that as a source of perspective and motivation is something that really opened my eyes too.
Yeah. Amen to that. So I was going to ask too, so like right now, like what's your current like exercise, nutrition regimen look like? And are you prepping for anything, like any cool competitions, anything like that?
Yeah. So I'm about living my life through moderation, which I know is like everyone says that, but I don't like, if I'm in training mode or this, like, I don't like to eat super differently if I'm in training for something than what I normally do. Like for me, I'm just like, that's how I want to be every day. I don't want to be in training mode for a month. Like I want to be in training mode every day. I want to be training for life. So that's like the coolest thing about finding the just finding like the love in moving your body and eating healthy and how it feels, because it doesn't feel like you're in a training mode.
Yeah.
So I think, nutrition, I eat super healthy, but I'm always kind of in that mode of, I want to do that. I want to feel good in my body. And I am doing the half marathon next weekend.
Oh, wow.
So I'm excited for that. It's going to be my second one. And I've been training a little bit. I probably should be training more. I do so many different types of workouts, so I can only run so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that should be exciting. I'm doing the half. My brother's doing the full. So yeah, it should be very exciting.
Yeah. Where's that at?
It's in Austin.
Oh, shoot. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. And he's fast.
Okay.
So I mean, I better finish if I'm doing the half before him.
Exactly. Well, shoot, maybe one of these days you'll do the full one.
All right, just give me 1 second. We'll get back to the training. Okay. Now, look, if you are looking to enhance your content, if you're looking to really build what we call a content machine, okay, we have this awesome worksheet for you. So just check out the link below and you guys can download this awesome worksheet where there's like 3 or 4 different type of like exercises in there. You guys can really roll out some brand new content for your guys' online audience, your guys' brand, your offer. Okay. Now back to the training.
I don't know if I ever will, to
Sounds
be
like
honest.
a lot.
Mentally, yes. It's just a lot of pounding, and I've had some injuries, and I'm like, I don't want it to take me away from doing the things I love every day. So TBD on that.
I gotcha.
That's what I think about in the marathon. It's just like your knees, like your shin splints, your foot, it's just like all that pounding on the pavement,
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot on your body. It takes a toll.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to just kind of shift gears and talk a little bit about coaching, Emily. So like, what is the thing that you love most about coaching people through health and fitness?
Yeah, I think the thing I love most, and it's become so addicting to me in an amazing way. My slogan for my company, Fit Food Junkies, is addicted to health. And
yeah.
I've become addicted to health in the best way, in so many different ways, right? But I think one of the addictions is motivating people, not just in the body, but in the mind.
Yeah.
So not saying nutrition and weight loss and all those things aren't important, but I do think so many times you got to lose something mentally in order for it to be shed physically. And when I teach my group fitness classes, I've had people come up to me and say, I got them through depression. I've got them through a death in their family.
Yeah.
They mentally, on the mental health side, they went through really tough things in their life, and they leave the room and they're like, wow, I really needed to show up today. I feel like a new person. I shed something in my head. So that's what it's all about. That's where the addiction comes from. So I think my favorite part of coaching is seeing that mental side of the room and come out and people leave like a new person.
100%. Yeah. That's like one of the most gratifying things. Just like when you're transforming and truly impacting lives.
It's the coolest feeling. It almost feels selfish sometimes because I'm like, oh, this is amazing. But yeah, it's such a rewarding experience. It really is.
Yeah. And you mentioned your podcast. So that's really cool too, that you do podcasting. And where did you come up with that name, Fit Food Junkies? And then what do you enjoy most about like interviewing people?
Yeah. So I was playing around with names and I was like, okay, well, I wanted to incorporate all the things, right? Like fitness, nutrition, everything. And I was like, I'm kind of just addicted to this. And then I thought of the word junkie. My brother actually helped me come up with it too. So I was like, fit food. I'm a junkie, fit food junkie. So I don't know. We just kind of played around with it. But yeah, it's been fun. I think it just kind of encompasses everything. And the junkie part kind of ties in with the addicted to health slogan too. And you could be a junkie in different things. I'm a chocolate junkie.
Yeah.
You can, right? And I think my favorite part is just, in every single interview, I've learned so much. It's almost like a little mini TED Talk or a little, right? You're learning so much from people that you look up to, that you admire. And when I interviewed you guys, I learned so much, and I take so much of that into account too. I think every day, like, I want to become a better person. I want to grow more every single day. So interviewing people, obviously, I hope that helps my audience as much as it has helped me as I interview people that I really admire.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're doing that. Trust me, you're definitely, shedding some light on people and inspiring them, so keep up what you're doing. And I wanted to ask too, I mean, obviously right now, Emily, you're doing a lot of stuff, right? So it's like right now you're training for a half a marathon, you do a podcast, you do coaching, right? You work a True Coach. So it's like, how in the morning, right? Let's just put it this way. Like, what's kind of like your morning routine to prime your mindset to like play offense and go to battle every single day? Because that's a lot of stuff that you're doing,
Yeah. I like how you said go into battle. It sometimes feels like that. I think it's a lot. Like, I think the one thing is, if you have a lot on your plate, and I feel a lot of times like there's too much on my plate, but I think that the one thing is I really am loving everything I'm doing, and it's all in the industry I'm so passionate about. And I'm being more cognizant of if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Like, I'm really trying to prioritize my time and I'm working on it, right? It's hard. It's hard. So it's hard. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm juggling a lot of things that I love, but it's a lot. It's very overwhelming. And my mornings, I think it depends. I would say that I feel like everyone who is successful, not everyone, a lot of people who are successful are morning people. A lot of people who want to be very successful, they try to become a morning person. Personally, I would love to be a morning person every single day, but it just doesn't work for me. So I think what's worked for me is, like, some mornings I'm like, I teach a 6 a.m. class. Other days I teach class in the evenings after work, and I'm going to maybe catch up on sleep a little bit. And instead of waking up at 5, wake up at 7-ish, whatever, maybe even a little bit later. So I think just like figuring out kind of your schedule. You don't have to be a morning person every single day if that doesn't work for you. And I'd say the mornings, I think a lot of people have these really intense morning routines. I think that if you like don't know where to start with the foundations that are the most important. Like I say, when I wake up, I think of 3 things I'm grateful for every single day. I think it puts it into perspective. If I don't have time to write it down, I recently just got this little, I don't know if you've heard of Tiny Buddhas. It's this gratitude journal. I'm really bad at journaling, but like, I don't know, everyone's talking about it. I'm like, I'm going to try it. I got this little journal on Amazon. It just helps me set intentions or I am statements. If I don't have time to do that, which honestly takes a minute, I just in my head think of what I'm grateful for every single day. And it really does change your mindset. Like, if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you think of even one thing you're grateful for, it changes your day. So I think that's one. Drinking water first thing, of course. Your body's dehydrated overnight. And I don't get the people that roll out of bed, they drink their coffee and right away and they get to their computer. I'm like, you are not ready for your day yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Come back. Yeah, right. I also think stretching. I don't stretch for a long time in the mornings. I stretch literally probably for less than a minute in the mornings. Like later after my workouts, I do it more, more intense stretch. But the stretch in the morning, I gotta move my blood. I gotta get my blood flow going. If I don't, even if I'm running late for something, I'm like, I need to stretch for 30 seconds because if not, my day feels off. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, if you can get outside, even if it's just across like one block, just to get a little sunlight and walk for a second and move your body before you get your mind right into the work zone. I think those 3 things is water, stretching, and walking for a second outside. I think that those are really good foundations to start your morning off right. And the last thing I will say is also, I have so much going on every single day. I like to, the night before I go to bed, kind of plan my day for the next day. Yeah. And so it doesn't feel as stressful going into it.
Yeah. Same. I do the same exact thing too, just knowing exactly like what's going to get done that day and stuff. But I'm glad you hit on what you said about the morning routine, because there's some people out there, man, where it's like they spend like 2+ hours on their morning routine, and it's an intense, like rigorous morning routine. I'm like, do you guys realize, number one, how much time like you guys are like, spending on that? Number 3, how much energy you're kind of like exerting on that too, and that could go into some work or something,
It's crazy. Also, a lot of people meditate in the mornings. I sometimes will do like a 3-minute meditation, which I know sounds stupid that it's only 3 minutes, but like I am like a little like energizer bunny and it's really hard for me to sit still. So I've tried to do more like breath work in the morning or sitting and breathing as in thinking what I'm grateful for. Maybe it is some mornings a 3-minute meditation. Like I mix it up with sometimes breathing and sitting for a moment, but I think that a lot of people think I have to wake up at this time to be successful. I have to meditate for 20 minutes in the morning. I think you got to figure out what works for you, and that's what's going to make you successful.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it is, just figuring out what works for you, the time you have, all that stuff. So I want to talk about you can do hard things. I saw that you posted this on your Instagram reel, that you posted a reel about this not too long ago. So can we elaborate on that? Like, what does that mean that you can do hard things?
Yeah. I mean, I always, you can do hard things translates to anything in life. If you push hard in the gym and you get outside your comfort zone, you will push hard outside of the gym in all forms of your life. And I think when you go through battle, like Chris said in the beginning, right, the next day, or adversity, like that's setting you up when you do hard things, when you're moving your body and outside of it as well.
Yeah. And then why do you think that, like, Emily, what do you think that why do you think people shy away from doing hard things?
I think people are scared to get outside of their comfort zone. I think people care too much about what people think, which I know we all do, right? But it's little by little, like we really all try to work on that. I think, I think not enough people are challenging themselves every day, and they're not choosing. My cousin the other day, she was, we were talking, I know it's already February, but we were talking about New Year's resolutions, and she was like, I want to do one thing every week that gets me out of my comfort zone. And I love that. Last week, she doesn't dance. Like she went to a dance class for fun. Like it could be as silly and simple as that just gets you out of your shell to do something new. And you never know where that's going to lead you. And maybe if you feel silly one way, maybe let's say in her dance class, maybe when she's doing her speaking event this weekend, she's going to feel so much more confident just by that translation. So those little escapes in your comfort zone, they can really translate into so many ways.
100%. I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah, and that was powerful what you said, just that, too many people like care about what others think. One of my mentors too, he said that people play the game of life, to not lose because they care so much about people, about what other people think, and that limits their success. You know what I mean? So was there ever a time, Emily, like for you, where you just like, were in that kind of zone, or you had that limiting belief where you just like cared way too much of what other people thought and it just kind of like held you back or limited your success?
Yeah, I think I've always been my own person. I've always tried to be unique and bring my own energy wherever I go. That being said, of course, I've cared what people think. I think the one specific time that really resonated with me and allowed me to make a huge shift and change to even more intensely not caring what people think is about 1.5 years ago, when my third week in Austin. Okay. I just moved here. I didn't know anyone. My brother wasn't here at the time. I only knew my roommate who I met on Facebook. Okay.
Oh,
that's it. I just moved here for this job. It's kind of wild. And people in Texas they're a little crazy drivers over here. But long story short, I had to drive far up north for work and I got hit by an 18-wheeler. I got in a horrible car accident. My car was totaled. I almost died. It was just this crazy experience that I went through that not only did I feel like it was a miracle that I survived this crash and I was okay. And I literally felt like someone was protecting me. It was this whole wild experience. Every part of you into perspective, where the next time you care what people think, you try. And again, I'm not saying I'm perfect, not even close to perfect, but more so you try and click of like, oh my God, I'm just lucky to be here today kind of perspective and that shift. So I think that's something that really, really, really changed me. Not recommending for anyone to go through a car accident or anything traumatic for that perspective shift, but just thinking like the gratitude. I think the gratitude, right, is number one. To like you're in life. Like, who knows what's going on? Like, when are we, right? Like, where are we? What's going on? Are like, no one knows really, like, are we like just these organisms that are living? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you, not to get all granular into astronomy and all these things, like we can go into it onto all of our different theories. But if you really think about it, like, what's going on? I don't know. So let's just live life and let's just have a good time and be ourselves. And the second you just kind of get out of it for a second, and just really try to shift the way you think of the world and people, it will help kind of not care what people think. That was a tangent. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it's totally cool. And like, it puts life into perspective, because life is, tomorrow's not guaranteed, and it really isn't. And, I mean, thank God that you're okay and everything. And that actually like makes me want to segue into my next question that we usually ask our guests. And if you had 5 years to live, Emily, what would you stop doing?
What would I stop doing? Ooh, that's a good question. If I had 5 years to live, what would I stop doing? That's a really, wow. That was like a deep one.
I got you on that one, huh? Threw a
I know you really did. You really did.
Now you know who the sneaky twin is.
Right. I mean, I think I kind of said this before, but like, something I'm working on, stop saying yes to things I don't want to do. Like, only saying yes to things that I really 100% want to do and be there for. I think that's a big one. Just like, where do I want to show up for myself and for other people? And like and like, if you're really thinking like the next couple of years, like what's so important, it's like you want to do things if you're 200% in it. I'm trying to think of something else. That was a good one.
Yeah. Sometimes, people respond, they say that I don't really want to, stop doing anything because they are enjoying everything they do. So, I mean, yeah, it's just something to kind of think about.
That was my first thought, is I was like, well, I love, like, as busy and crazy as I am, I was like, I love everything I'm doing. So like, what's something that can just enhance? And it would be more of just saying no to more things I don't want to do and yes to more things I do.
Yeah, for sure. I love it.
Yeah. And then just it is. It's a good deep one. Yeah. But what would you say, Emily's like next for you? Like I said, you're doing some awesome stuff, right now, you're juggling a lot of stuff too. But what's really next for you? What's kind of like that next kind of like mountain, that you really want to kind of like, get past or attain,
Yeah, I think what's next for me is, first, I mean, I love like all of our alignment on gratitude and just like being really thankful. I think that I love motivating people. I love working with kids. I speak Spanish. I'd love to start something where I'm helping, whether it's Spanish speaking speakers or kids in the health and wellness world. There's something I'm really passionate about, is a lot of the Latino community, they're not as educated on nutrition and fitness. So I'd love to really target those people, especially because it's, a community or a culture that has to do with my family, and just helping more people in need and kind of educating them to be healthier and, open them up to that space. And then also just growing my podcast, keep interviewing amazing people like you guys. I'm so excited for that episode to come out, keep growing the pod. And yeah, you guys actually sparked, and when we were talking about it last time about opening up your own coaching business, I was like, should I do it again? I used to do it more one-on-one. Now I do more group training. But it's something that I've been thinking about redoing again. But I will say another big piece is just growing in terms of the motivational speaking and content, really touching a lot on mental health. I think that's something I'm really big on. And I just want to keep conveying more and more that it's not just physical fitness, it's mental fitness.
Yeah. And I can definitely see you doing that too, like with your podcast platform, especially. So
thanks. Yeah. It's fun. It's all fun.
So before we let you go, Emily, before I ask the last question, I just want to just, commend you. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for, your time coming on our podcast. Thank you for having Chris and myself on your podcast. We had a great time. We've all hit it off, like the last couple months, and just, I can tell you're a great human being, great energy, and literally like sky is the limit for you. Like, you're going to do some amazing things. You got a bright future ahead of you.
You are so kind, and I right back at you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So what does living a dynamic lifestyle mean to you?
Living a dynamic lifestyle to me means living every day with your passion while also dynamically being able to incorporate other things, right? Like, kind of like spicing up your day with a little bit of everything. I think mixing up your passions while, like, people are like, oh, you can't balance it all. Like, you can balance everything you want to prioritize, everything you want to do in your dynamic lifestyle. Yeah. So putting together your passions, kind of like writing down what's my priorities, like what are things I actually want to focus on, and then and put that together, and then that's going to be what your day looks like, and make it your passion, make it something you look forward to waking up each and every day too.
Yeah. Ooh, I was gonna say, Emily, like, where's the mic? I would say, put some water on the mic.
I said the mic's caliente.
That's so funny. You guys are the best, and you guys also have the best energy, and I am so grateful and privileged to be on your pod, and thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you. No, it's our pleasure. So yeah, where can the listeners connect with you and just follow everything you're doing?
Yeah, so I also have a podcast. It's called Fit Food Junkies. Chris and Eric's episode will be coming out very soon. And then my Instagram's at Fit Food Junkies. Connect with me. I'd love to hear from you. And I'd always love to hear from new people. I live in Austin and I teach at Equinox here. I'm a group fitness instructor. I also work in sales and partnerships at True Coach. And if you're ever just curious to chat and connect, I'd love to.
Right on. Well, we'll have all that linked up in the show notes. So guys, go check out Emily. She's doing some cool stuff. And like I said, she's a really, really cool human being. So once again, Emily, thank you again for coming on our podcast. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Emily.
Thanks y'all so much.
You're welcome. All right, guys, until the next episode.
All right, hopefully you got one or two nuggets out of that, because there were some knowledge bombs in there from Emily, all right? So if you are a health and fitness coach, you got inspired by this conversation, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to watch this training right here. If you are a health and fitness coach that wants to build a 6-figure business, whether it's hybrid or whether it's online, watch this video training right here, because we give you guys the 6 new ways to be able to do that.